Allez, bonjour, on est reparti pour la suite de Sherlock Holmes, Crime and Punishment. C'est parti. Alors, le manoir de l'abbaye. Donc la dernière enquête là qu'on avait fait a été bien, je trouve. Le petit meurtre dans le sauna là. Donc là apparemment, il y avait une cinématique avant. Ils partent à la chasse, je crois. On va voir. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on va... Oh, super. Les meilleures vues du monde. Ah oui, voilà, on avait reçu une lettre de l'Estrade, je crois. Je sais plus. La table, laquelle? Là. Carrément avec un poignard. Enfin, c'est juste un coup de papier, mais... Scandale colossal en haute société. Notre estimé compatriote Sir Rodney Bencliffe, archéologue réputé, a été à juste titre assassiné. Ah merde! Ah, c'est alors celui qu'on avait mis en tôle en fait. Ah non! Non, attends. Non, ça c'est... Non! Non, ça c'est le mec qu'on avait... dont on avait fait l'enquête. Oui, c'était la victime de l'enquête précédente. Non, je confonds avec celui que j'avais mis en prison pour cette enquête. Ok, d'accord, ok. Donc le crime a eu lieu au terme romain, nanana, dernier site de fouille de l'archéologue. Mais le plus choquant reste encore que Sir Rodney a succombé aux mains de Percival Blinkhorn, son ancien ami associé. Pareil scélérat ne mérite que la peine de mort. Jour après jour, l'Empire assoit plus sa puissance. À compter d'hier, le consortium mexicain Caracal s'est rallié à la cause de l'Empire britannique. Un arrangement indéniablement profitable pour Londres et toute l'Angleterre, doublé d'un accomplissement prouvant la qualité exceptionnelle de notre corps diplomatique et politique. Sans transition, un train a mystérieusement disparu aux abords de la gare ferroviaire d'Ivesham. Ça, c'était la deuxième enquête. L'horrible meurtre de l'ex-capitaine Peter Carey, donc ça c'était la première enquête, alias Peter le Noir pour les intimes, a été résolu. Scotland Yard a en effet reçu d'une source fiable des preuves plus que suffisantes pour conclure à la culpabilité de Pablo Coventrao, ex-harponneur de Monsieur Carey. Ouais, en fait on avait découvert que c'était une autre personne, Patrick Cairn, je crois, qui était le coupable, mais c'était un accident, donc du coup on a mis ça sur le dos d'un mec mort. Malheureusement, justice n'a pas pu être faite puisque M. Coventrao était mort entre-temps de cause naturelle, peut-être envahi de remords après son geste.
This is where I keep my post.
Mais c'est pas ça que... Ah bah voilà, elle était là.
I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
Il écrit encore mieux que moi. Hein.
A wax seal with the monogram E.B. The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Alors, manoir de l'abbaye Marsham, je sais pas comment on dit. Kent, 3h30. Cher Monsieur Holmes, je serais très heureux d'avoir votre concours immédiat pour ce qui promet d'être une affaire des plus remarquables, et tout à fait dans vos cartes qui plus est. Je me suis borné à délivrer Milady. Pour le reste, je veillerai à ce que tout reste exactement dans l'état où je l'ai trouvé. En contrepartie, je vous prie de ne pas perdre un instant car il est difficile de laisser ici Sir Eustache. Eustace. Bien à vous, inspecteur Lestrade.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime.
Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Ça le hype. Ouh là là.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Bien, 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 bien. Alors, inspectons la pièce déjà. Alors j'aime... Enfin, le papier peint fait très riche, mais j'aime pas du tout.
Sir Warthen Brackenstall. Lord Ramsay Brackenstall. Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Non, lui.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall. Baron Lyndon Brackenstall. Lord George Brackenstall. The Brackenstall family seems rather austere. Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Ok. Alors, qu'est-ce qui t'est arrivé? Bleu, récent, donc elle a été violentée pendant le cambriolage. Il joue pâle. Elle vient d'Australie. Robe élégante, ouais, bah, l'aristocratie. Hein. Des bleus anciens.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and, oh God,
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had hurt them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Menteuse.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship?
Ça te rend un peu suspecte, ma grande. Hein. Alors, l'article du Times. Une affaire de famille, les Randall récidivent. Il y a moins de 2 semaines, la femme dynastique de cambrioleurs qui porte le nom de Randall a fait parler d'elle en commettant une intrusion aussi violente qu'efficace dans l'un des foyers les plus aisés de Sydenham. La police traque déjà les malfaiteurs, mais les détails de ce crime, y compris le nom de la victime, demeurent confidentiels. Un témoin a été en mesure de fournir une description précise des 3 individus, ce qui permettra sans doute à la police de compléter son profil de cette famille délinquante. À cette occasion, chers lecteurs, nous aimerons prendre d'une part la liberté de rappeler le danger que représentent ces clics, et d'autre part le temps d'en diffuser la description qui nous a été communiquée. Le gang, qui s'étend sur 2 générations, commet ses méfaits depuis de longues années. La quarantaine, cheveux gris, Jack Randall, le pater familias, est de taille et de carrure moyenne. Cerveau des cambriolages, il contrôle étroitement ses 2 fils d'âge similaire mais d'apparence bien différente. William Randall, l'aîné, est grand et large d'épaules, avec une tête à la petitesse disproportionnée. Quant à Melville Randall, le cadet, il est plus chétif et maigrelet. Le gang est recherché non seulement pour ses fréquents vols et effractions, mais aussi pour sa carrière particulièrement violente dans la piraterie avant de revenir en Angleterre. Prudence, chers lecteurs, et puissent vos objets de valeur échapper à leur cliff.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article. This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one? So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Ok, on pique des photos.
A trapper's hut.
Avant de lui parler... allez. La femme de chambre.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
Charide. Ah, je vois pas. Sollicitude. Mouchoir, odeur de vinaigre. D'accord. Main de travailleuse. Tache de café.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
My mistress is very tired. Can't you allow her to her room?
Ok, est-ce que je peux aller voir le corps?
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Sans déconner. Porte-fenêtre, on ira après.
The hunting scene. A hunter's cabin. A decanter standing next to the open bottle. An inseparable pair indeed. Chateau Calon-Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other 2 are clear. Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me.
Un chien policier, bah on a Toby.
This is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to. The hunting scene. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents. These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France. A bottle of wine is missing here. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware. A deer hunt.
Alors, cheminée.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. So, Watson?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
A fur trader's cabin.
Je voulais juste retourner avant. Ça, c'est les tableaux quelconques.
A trapper's hut.
Il semblait qu'ici je pouvais utiliser mon don. Là.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it. There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, It is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
My mistress is very tired. Can't you allow her to her room?
Let us try to open this safe.
Alors, attention.
This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Ça va, c'était facile.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
Alors, sœur Eustace, votre état physique et mental ne laisse pas de m'inquiéter. Vous présentez plusieurs signes de décompensation hépatique. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? À notre dernière rencontre, vous aviez les yeux injectés de sang et la peau jaunâtre. Une certaine odeur de votre respiration laisse penser à une tumeur du foie. Viennent ensuite ces abcès aux poumons dont nous avons parlé. Les crampes aux jambes que vous m'avez décrites sont provoquées par une altération du système nerveux, elle-même causée par un excès d'alcool. Il en va de même pour vos convulsions. Lors de votre examen, votre foie présentait une rigidité excessive, caractéristique d'une cirrhose en pleine évolution. Vous présentez en outre des symptômes d'acide fluide dans la cavité péritonéale, d'où ces ganglions à l'estomac. Vos douleurs au flanc gauche sont révélatrices d'une maladie pancréatique qui peut déboucher sur une pancréatite aiguë sévère aux conséquences mortelles. Votre mal constitue un risque pour autrui. Vos abus d'alcool inhibent votre self-control et aiguisent votre agressivité. Je me tiens à votre disposition pour vous aider à y remédier. Il existe en effet divers traitements envisageables. Alors, le corps.
Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon. That must be the murder weapon. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress. The head was cracked with the force of the blow.
Est-ce qu'il y a autre chose? Ah.
It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation. This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there.
Alors, je voulais aller à la porte-fenêtre. Peut-être des indices par ici. y a pas l'air. Non, ok. Alors. Trucs analysés et les trucs. Ah oui. Oui. Donc je lui demande par rapport à ça.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behavior.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
Mhm.
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight.
Putain.
Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
Quand même.
The death was instant.
Et Lady Machin, là, elle a rien à dire?
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Non. Ok, alors on va rentrer à la maison. Il faut que j'analyse un truc et que je prenne un petit oubli.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope. The fibers from this cut appear to be different. The fibers from this cut appear to be different. If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Ok, ça a été fait au couteau donc.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case. I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Est-ce qu'il me suit? Ah non, je me suis pas. Il est avec nous. Par contre, il doit être vraiment bien dressé, parce que pour que Sherlock Holmes l'autorise à vivre avec lui...
Search, Toby.
Oh, on contrôle le chien, super. Alors... Ah, apparemment c'est bien par là.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. The scent leads to the well. I should check it. The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
Oui, en effet, oui. Ah, une porte-fenêtre, ils appellent ça une fenêtre française. Je ne savais pas. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a ici? Crochet.
This hook might be useful. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty.
Pardon.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it? I doubt that I will be able to draw this package out of the well with a bucket. Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
ils l'ont planqué là. Ce serait débile. Pourquoi ils sont pas partis avec?
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Ouais, j'avoue. Bravo, mon chien. J'ai une bonne nouvelle.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
Pour moi, c'est vachement suspect.
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship?
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
Même Sherlock, il est là. Ah, je suis intelligent. Ouais. Ah merde, il est où, Watson?
A fur trader's cabin.
Alors, enquêter sur le meurtre au manoir. Ok. Alors, ouh là 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 là. Australienne. Non, ça. Ah non, 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 non. Attends. Hop. Comment on fait pour... Ah voilà. Donc, australienne et vie de recluse. Crâne fracassé avec le tisonnier. Comportement violent avec le récit de l'estrade. Pare-feu. Alors, marin, le cordon a été coupé net avec un couteau aiguisé, puis noué rapidement à l'aide de nœuds marins. Ces éléments peuvent indiquer que l'intrus est un marin. Sir Eustace n'avait pas de scrupule à porter la main sur sa femme. Étrangère, Lady Brackenstall a épousé Sir Eustace peu après son arrivée en Angleterre. Depuis, elle est restée cloîtrée chez elle. Il est probable que sa femme de chambre et elle ne connaissent personne dans le pays. Est une étrangère. Elle a fait un long voyage en bateau. Elle a pu rencontrer quelqu'un à bord du Rock. Ils ont plutôt l'air étrangères. Trois personnes ont bu dans l'air, l'une a préféré le vin avec lit. Deux personnes ont bu dans les verres et versé la lie dans le troisième. motif du crime est le vol. Les criminels comptent peut-être revenir récupérer l'Argentine sans s'en séparer. La mort de Serestas avait peut-être été maquillée pour faire croire à un vol. L'Argentine n'était pas censée être retrouvée. Je partirais plutôt sur cette théorie. Mais du coup, comme cachette, le puits, c'est pas terrible. Témoignage et preuves accablent le gang des Randall. Après, Watson a dit quoi? Qu'il faisait face à son agresseur. Bon, pour le moment, ça les accable. Bon, je vais mettre comme ça, mais je suis pas encore tout à fait sûr. Alors, la mort de Serestas est peut-être due à un coup de tisonnier. La mort de Serestas est peut-être due à une commotion accidentelle contre le pare-feu de la cheminée. Peut-être ça. Accident conjugal. Non, attends, il doit y avoir autre chose. Non, il n'y a que ça.
A hunter scene. Antique hunting weapons. The Brackenstall family appear to be preoccupied with hunting.
Là c'est bon, là c'est bon. Là je peux pas y aller, le cadavre c'est fait.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
Je regarde si j'ai pas manqué quelque chose.
Please leave my Mary.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Dans la maison il n'y a rien. Par dehors. Parce que ma première pensée c'était ça en fait, que elle supportait plus son mari violent et puis bah boum boum quoi. Dans la remise il n'y a plus rien. Non. Bon, alors. Cette affaire est trop simple, profitons-en pour laisser notre ami Estra tirer la couverture en ligne. On en apparaîtra dans la presse. Évincer la police, ça me paraît pas très Sherlock Holmes. Alors si je mets ça avec rencontre, est-ce que... Sir Eustace a été assassiné par la seule personne à s'être introduite dans le domaine cette nuit-là. C'est ce même individu, grand et fort, qui a ligoté... Chercher des marins suspects. Ah! Je vais voir avec l'estrade.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
Oh, what a horrible thing.
Please leave my...
Peut-être chez moi.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Alors, donc 1993. On va pas faire 83 comme hier. L'arrivée du Rock of Gibraltar. Retour de navire. Le Rock of Gibraltar, vraquier de la Ligue Adélaïde, Southampton, Londres, Cunard Building, James Street, Londres, revient après un périple de 6 mois en Inde, Nouvelle-Zélande et Australie. Le navire amène en Angleterre Miss Mary Fraser, héritière d'une famille de propriétaires terriens qui ont fait une fortune dans les mines d'étain en Australie. Cette demoiselle qu'on nous assure ravissante est actuellement fiancée à Sir Eustace Wenstal, l'un des plus riches gentlemen du Kent.
Here it is.
Ouais.
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
Wiggins. Alors comment on l'invoque, Wiggins? Ah, je crois que c'est à la fenêtre.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Ouais.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893, and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Ouais, c'est des gamins, ça se filtre partout ces trucs-là.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
Bien.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar. on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
Alors, le 7 novembre 94.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
C'est ça que je voulais faire. Oh, quoique. Charles, Jack, Henry, Thomas, Herbert, William. Là, il y a Henry, mais c'est pas le même. Ok. Herbert, non. William, c'est pas
This
lui.
officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Ensuite, alors là, ils peuvent être à Londres.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
On va peut-être faire les autres quand même, si on a plusieurs, mais ça m'étonnerait. Henry, Thomas, Herbert.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Putain, mais ce gamin, c'est la CIA, quoi. La vache.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Sympa la barbe. Alors. Regard franc, honnête. Large carrure. Y a rien sur ces mains là? Non. Encre de journal. Les bottes sont propres. Couteau de marin.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, You were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night?
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
S'il a un alibi.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No. There is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
Alors, le capitaine Crocker était à bord du Charles, l'ennemi meurtre, preuve en est son assurance. Il m'a fait face et n'a pas cherché à éluder mes questions. Ça, c'est vrai, ça. Il est venu de lui-même. Ouais, mais... ça veut rien dire, parce que pratiquement tout le monde sait que c'est un grand enquêteur. Si par exemple je dis qu'il ment, ce sera sûrement la conclusion que c'est Crocker. Ouais. Parce qu'il est parti par... J'essaie de me refaire le meurtre. Lorsque le meurtre a été fait, il est parti par la porte-fenêtre. Il est allé dans la remise, ensuite le puits, il est parti par le mur. La fameuse... Ouais, mais il y a bien quelqu'un qui est parti par le mur. Parce qu'il a même senti son odeur. Et si par exemple c'était elle qui était partie par le mur pour secourir et je sais pas quoi, le chien l'aurait senti. Alors, est-ce que ce serait le marin? Je vais essayer de voir si je dis que c'est lui. Si je... On va voir.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstone.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife.
Ah oui, il y avait ça
The
aussi.
knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear. And it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Oh merde. Non, 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 non. Le QTO.
Please forgive me, Captain Crocker. I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, we'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night.
Oh, c'est drama.
Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
Ok, alors j'ai juste envie de voir les autres fins. En tout cas, celle-là, c'était la bonne. Genre si lui, on l'arrête avec la dame machin.
Wiggins, could you ask me...
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over.
What?
I know, and because you are the only one,
It's true.
it is time for you to tell us.
I admit that I loved... I was due to set... Oh, I regret...
Lady Brackenstall already forgave,
Mary.
but that makes her an accomplice, as
Mr. Holmes.
you would not have managed to protect.
Till I die, do you hear me? Now it is time to end this. You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
Oh, c'est pas drama ça. Alors je vais juste voir les fins avec Lady machin. Parce que la fin des Randall, je m'en fous, c'est pas eux. Donc, ils ont absolument rien à voir là-dedans. Mais juste voir comment il réagit en fait. Alors, on va la condamner. En tout cas, c'était court comme enquête. Ça m'a pris même à peine ouais, 1 heure et quart. D'habitude, c'est plus de 2 heures. Et du coup, je vais avoir le temps de faire une autre enquête juste après.
I have reached my conclusion, Lestrade. I regret that your culprits are in the next room.
Lady Brackenstall and her maid?
Yes, and their mise en scene after the death of Sir Eustace can only
Mise en
point
scene.
to premeditation.
That's terrible. Follow me. I'm going to arrest them. Ladies, I must arrest you both for the murder of Sir Eustace.
What? But that's impossible. We are innocent. Madam.
You'll tell that to the judge. Come with me now.
You were making a serious mistake, Inspector. You too, Mr. Holmes, which is rather surprising of you.
Or rather, impossible.
C'est nul. Bon, elle est nulle cette fin. Non. Attends. Alors si je décide de l'absoudre.
Ladies, I know the full story. You are both guilty, are you not?
Mr. Holmes, I can explain everything.
No, madam, he's bluffing.
It is no use. Your husband was a violent man, a cruel man. Your argument last night ended tragically, with him stumbling and falling, fatally striking his head upon the fireplace grate. However,
Your mise en scène to divert suspicion was unnecessary. You should have admitted the truth.
The truth is often subjective, Mr. Holmes.
Not to me.
What will you tell Inspector Lestrade?
He will find nothing, as he handed the case over to me. Farewell, ladies.
Ouais, la voix de Mimo, quoi.
Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean...
I mentioned the murderers, not...
You really think...
You only...
Bon, on va faire la fin avec le marin. Parce qu'il avoue tout, donc... Puis on va l'absoudre, parce que l'autre, c'est comme dans la première enquête, c'était un sac à merde.
Wigan.
Why did you make me come here
Alors, je vais juste faire un truc avant. Hop. Ok.
again, Mr. Holmes?
It is time for you to tell us.
Blablabla, blablabla.
You till I... Now.
Please forgive me. See, Cap...
In...
What?
You...
If they...
You'll...
On classe l'affaire. Allez, hop. Il y en a combien de 93% et 64% qui ont fait le même choix. Allez, tragédie à Kew Garden.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants.
Je me disais aussi.
Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Ah, tu vas pas laisser ton chien là? Il va se faire... Bon. Par contre, moi, je rentre dans cette salle et je vois autant d'abeilles, je cours. Ah, je peux pas, moi. C'est juste hors de question.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favor for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh
dear.
shit.
Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house?
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
Ah,
The plants were here. All of them were stolen.
Do not touch.
eh bien, enquêtons.
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
Alors, il a dit que c'était près de la porte. Moi, je vais tout fouiller.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. Water lily greenhouse. According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The esconsson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection Room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection Room.
This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. According to this, they have light. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. Dry tropics. These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
Il va falloir que j'enquête pour savoir d'où ça vient.
There is a smell of burning.
Feu pour casser.
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. The remains of a picture frame. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. A broom handle was half burned. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire?
The door handle to the Colonial Collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material.
The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned. Nursery. Seed house. Ventilation system. Dry tropics. Water lily greenhouse. Colonial collection. Palm house. Director's office, cloakroom and laboratory.
On va aller dans toutes les salles.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A ventilation. Locked. 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 Locked.
Ok. Là aussi c'est fermé, ouais.
Locked. Locked.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Ouais, attends, on va te parler après. Bon, il n'y a rien ici.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only. For I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Ok, c'est tout. On va parler au directeur adjoint. Lunettes bon marché. Il est myope. Col sale. Célibataire. Il a les mains de jardinier.
Would you unlock the doors for us?
Do you expect to find the stolen plants there? I am sorry, but those rooms are private.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Ok. Consulter les archives. Consulter les archives. Et ben on va aller voir mes archives. Cher monsieur Holmes, j'ai fini par trouver le courage de vous écrire. Les mots me manquent pour vous témoigner ma gratitude. En ce jour fatidique, j'ai cru ma vie gâchée. Mais tout à la fois, je me suis aperçu qu'une personne ici m'aimait réellement et ne m'était pas non plus indifférente. Nous connaissons tous deux son nom, le capitaine Jock Crocker. Son amour m'a enfin donné une raison de vivre, même s'il s'avère que nous ne pourrons être réunis. Rien de tout ça n'aurait pu arriver sans vous. Ah, c'est gentil. Elle nous envoie une lettre.
This is where I keep my post.
Alors. Martiaux, marqué symbole. Journaux, ça m'étonnerait. Alors, les plantes ci-après ont en commun une certaine toxicité, à des degrés divers. Alors, tous les noms en romain, voilà. Seules les 3 premières peuvent se révéler néfastes pour l'homme, en particulier la Florème diabolica. Bon, je vais quand même lire les noms. Alors, Dionae carnivora, j'ai jamais fait de latin. Carlina inebriare, Florème diabolica, Prunus serotina, Cocromoleena odorata, je pense que c'est un D, Eliam forest, Tepuis, Biblis, Genlisea violacea, Darlingtonia et Cracoucas cephalotus. Il faut toutefois réunir des conditions bien spécifiques. C'est uniquement en riposte à une agression qu'elle excuse des spores mortels.
Here it is.
Ensuite, le divin syndicat scolastique pour la vénération du végétal. Les membres du syndicat vénèrent Tréwan, le dieu roi. Ils cherchent à atteindre la paix intérieure et à s'affranchir du matérialisme, d'où des donations très généreuses.
Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here.
Alors, un symbole sur les pots de fleurs trouvé pour moi qui n'était pas d'originaire.
That is not the one I need.
Le jardin de Seymour, matériel et fourniture de jardin. Nous subvenons à tous vos besoins en matière de paysagisme, jardinage et élagage. Catalogue exhaustif, fourniture et livraison de sable, humus, paillis, pots, etc. 3 Blurton Road à Londres.
Here it is.
On va retourner au jardin. Bah, c'est bien. Ouais.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Bon. Trouver les plantes volées, examiner l'endroit où on a perdu la vie. Ah, apparemment, il y a peut-être des choses qui m'ont manqué. Alors, je suis là et... Ok.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Ah,
This sign
con,
is
j'avais pas
broken.
vu.
Something heavy was dropped upon it. Blood. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash. Most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all. No, it wasn't like that.
Attends, on fonce la porte. On verse le pot. Il tombe.
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder? I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection Room.
Ah, tiens.
Very strange. Half of the Colonial Collection is absent. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. These windows were perfectly cleaned. The smell is strong. It is a detergent. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire.
La mort de Montague est suspecte. En effet, pourquoi a-t-il forcé la porte de la collection coloniale? Pourquoi a-t-on nettoyé et vidé la salle? S'agit-il d'un simple accident ou d'un piège? Une autopsie s'impose.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy, then.
First of all, let us carry out an external examination. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy. No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
L'autre qui siffle. On dirait un docteur Maboul. Alors, poumon.
The lungs are congested and edematous. The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant. The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs. The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning. Plant poisoning, to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
You should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish
and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Q will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson. It is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
Oh, laisse-le s'amuser. Alors, donc il a été empoisonné. Dune a été piégé, enfermé par le tueur dans la salle de la collection coloniale. Il a inhalé un poison végétal mortel. Ceux qui ont volé les plantes exotiques, y compris les espèces tueuses, durant la dernière exposition à Kew Gardens, sont peut-être également les assassins. Bon, tu vas nous donner ces clés maintenant.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before. And now, all of a sudden, he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
Ok. Tiens, en parlant d'elle.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Alors, Albert. Alors, comme ça, on se faisait bully par son propre père.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honor of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Dis donc, pour la plupart, on enquête que sur des meurtres de fils de pute.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Oh, bon, puis on va crocheter la serrure des vestiaires.
Just be careful with the plants during your inspection.
Alors, c'est parti. Et il en manque
It
une.
appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here. Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
A botany book.
This student's book belongs to Albert. Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
Mais c'est qui me parle mal. Il a bien raison. Alors, table de laboratoire. Trace de bouteille.
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust. Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
Ah, on va rejouer le chien.
Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
Ok. Alors. Oh là, ça m'a l'air encore plus compliqué. Celui-là que je peux... Non, mais... Oh, les contrôles de ce truc. Voilà.
Open. Albert's locker. Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
Académie de sous-officiers de la Royal Navy au centre de recrutement à Londres. Monsieur, je suis au regret de vous informer que malgré vos excellents résultats de nos examens d'entrée, nous ne sommes pas en mesure de vous admettre à l'Académie de la Royal Navy. Monsieur Montague, votre père, a en effet exprimé son intention de vous confier la direction des chars de botanique royaux de Kew et ne souhaite manifestement pas vous décharger pendant une année entière de formation dans la Navy. Et que c'était tout nouveau de réussite à Kew Gardens. Très respectueusement, machin le marchand directeur. Putain, salopard.
Young Albert, standing with a woman in front of London University.
Ok.
Martin Hamish's locker. Father and I, Kew Gardens. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces.
Monsieur le secrétaire général, les événements qui ont eu lieu récemment à Kew Gardens m'obligent à renouveler ma candidature au poste de directeur. Comme j'avais déjà souligné dans mes précédents courriers, j'estime que personne n'est plus apte à ce poste. Du vivant de monsieur Montague, vous aviez émis des réserves d'ordre politique que je comprenais et respectais bien volontiers. Or, Kew Gardens aujourd'hui en proie au désordre. Comment pourrais-je laisser faire? Comment abandonner le lieu entre les mains d'individus sans expérience ni motivation? Je dois vous exhorter à prendre une décision en urgence afin que je puisse me vouer entièrement à la noble tâche qui m'attend et m'ôter le poids de cette incertitude.
Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting. Miss White's locker. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
Alors, cher père, chère mère et père, c'est à contre-cœur que je vous écris pour vous demander votre concours. Les dépenses de mes études et de mon logement se sont révélées plus importantes que je ne l'envisageais. Aussi ai-je peur à terme de ne plus pouvoir subvenir à mes besoins. Je suis consciente que notre relation n'est pas été sans heurts, mais j'en appelle à votre bon cœur. Allez-vous donc laisser votre fille échouer dans ses études par manque d'argent, Margaret?
Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. These jewels must be worth a small fortune. A vanity purse. It is of high quality.
Margaret, c'est avec surprise que nous avons reçu ta lettre. Tu ne manques pas de toupet de nous demander de l'argent après nous avoir laissé sans nouvelles pendant toutes ces années. Voilà que tu daignes enfin nous faire part de ta réussite universitaire. Tu as sans doute honte de nous qui ne sommes pas de la haute, comme tes nouveaux amis. Oui, nous sommes de modestes gens, mais tu devrais apprendre à te passer... Tu devrais apprendre à faire passer ta famille avant tout, comme nous l'avons toujours fait. D'autant qu'aucun d'entre nous n'a jamais terni sa réputation avec son employeur comme toi avec Monsieur Dune. Non, Margaret, c'est nous qui avons honte de toi, tes parents. Bon. Chère Margaret, conscient de votre problème financier, je tiens à vous rassurer que je ne saurais vous laisser en si mauvaise posture. Moi qui suis d'origine fortunée, je prendrai pour un honneur que vous daigniez accepter mon aide. Ah, elle me paraît intéressante cette petite Miss White là.
Locked.
A thesis written by Martin Hamish. A glasses case. It is empty. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. An award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year. A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish. These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery. The seeds of plant species are stored here. Open.
Alors, elle, on va lui parler juste après. Bon, il n'y a rien.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Je vais juste faire un truc 30 secondes. En espérant qu'OBS ne va pas me planter. Non, c'est bon. Voilà. Parfum raffiné. Feuille pour. Célibataire.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Ok, alors. Allez. Alors, faut que j'aille voir Martin. Ça, je dois encore l'utiliser. Faut que j'aille voir Albert.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the...
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say.
On
Yes,
va dire
that's
ça, ouais.
correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father, so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Alors, le bureau, on l'avait pas fait. Oh non, non, mais je voulais quitter. Oh putain. Non. Alors. Ah, non. Un, deux, trois. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trois, 4, 5. Bon, ça va, je pensais que ça allait être beaucoup plus chiant. Cher ami, permettez-moi de vous témoigner ma déception à la lecture de votre dernière lettre. Je vous paie pour me défendre et non m'accuser. Kew Gardens est une institution royale. Nous avons l'occasion rare de sillonner le monde à la rescousse des espèces végétales les plus rares et précieuses. Notre devoir est de protéger ces espèces contre ceux qui désirent s'en servir à des fins inavouables. Ce divin syndicat dont vous parlez n'a aucun droit de détenir des plantes aussi précieuses. Rappelez-vous l'affaire du 14 juin 1889. Je vous demande donc à nouveau de bien vouloir notarier les autorisations relatives à ces plantes dont dispose Kew Gardens. Ces documents vous ont été envoyés lundi dernier. PS, je vous retrouve à notre habitude ce mardi au Boodles. Monsieur Dune, nous exigeons pour la dernière fois le retour de nos chères sœurs. Vous n'avez aucun droit de les détenir en captivité car elles ne vous appartiennent pas. Vos prétendues autorisations sont pure imposture. Vous dissimulez derrière vos mensonges, cela même, nul besoin d'en dire plus que la presse a surnommé l'affaire du 14 juin 1889. Vos actes sont tout simplement odieux. Croyez-vous bien que jamais nous n'abandonnerons nos proches. Nous regrettons de vous avoir accordé notre confiance. Le divin syndicat.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Dette de Miss Margaret envers Monsieur Montagne. Location d'une suite sur Rockford Street, bourse à l'Université de Londres, crédit en cours chez les tailleurs Hamilton et Radigan House, ainsi que la bijouterie de luxe Bird & Sons. Mhm.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish. Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine, a remarkable vintage.
Ma très chère Margaret, suite à notre dernière conversation, il me paraîtrait préférable que tu quittes ton poste à Kew Gardens. Comme tu l'as signifié sans embâche, tu n'as plus besoin de mon soutien. Tu es tout à fait capable, pour reprendre tes mots, de tenir seule ta place dans le monde. Soit je te rends ta liberté avec tous mes vœux de bonheur.
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
Une nouvelle espèce végétale. L'équipe de Kew Gardens a le plaisir d'annoncer l'aboutissement d'une nouvelle variété d'orge totalement insensible au froid et baptisée de fait orge de Sibérie. Monsieur Martin Hamish, fier créateur de cette nouvelle greffe, tiendra une conférence de presse sur cette question lundi prochain au matin.
Just be careful with the plants during your inspection.
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
Les clés, j'en ai plus besoin. Non, c'est bon. Alors, on va aller à la maison. On va d'abord analyser, consulter les archives et ensuite on va prendre TéléZ avec nous.
This is where I keep my...
Alors, l'affaire du 14 juin 89. Scandale au divin syndicat. Situé au 14 Grosvenor Street, Carleton Road, l'association dite du divin syndicat qui vénère le dieu roi Trewan, protecteur des plantes et des arbres, fait actuellement l'objet d'une enquête administrative. Les dirigeants de cette organisation sont en effet soupçonnés de malversations financières qui les exposent à des poursuites judiciaires. Toutefois, de nombreuses voix se sont élevées contre cette enquête, dénonçant un acharnement de l'État. Cette organisation privée qui se consacre à la défense de la nature compte bon nombre de notables du royaume, dont des personnalités politiques de l'opposition.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn. Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
Oh, il a même un tapis brodé avec son nom, quoi. C'est pas mignon, ça.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
Ah, attends, est-ce que je peux aller voir... Genre le gars, il l'emmerdait. Non. Bon. Ça aurait été drôle.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes. A tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle. Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Tout bien, mon chien. Utiliser, à demander. Bon, on va ramener le chien.
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test. A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens.
Il en a rien à foutre.
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pip.
Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
Ok, bon, on va aller au divin syndicat.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us.
Effectivement, c'est magnifique. Gourou. Bonjour, grand maître.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock...
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself, I shall. I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
Bon, maître Yoda. Un tatouage. Cale sur les doigts.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
We visited Kew Gardens, and we found your symbols on their flower pots.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely an observation. Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
On accepte aussi les cartes bleues, les chèques. PayPal, vous connaissez?
From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Ça, c'était pas mal, ça. Morceau de peau, fragment.
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kew Gardens symbol.
Mhm.
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of. It is rather delicious, and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine.
Je vois bien Sherlock Holmes. C'est de la bonne. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Ah d'accord.
This must be Trewan, the Divine Syndicate's god.
Praise the grand tree, praise it!
Brace cake. Il n'y a que lui auquel je suis dévoué. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il y a ici?
The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders.
Il n'y a pas le nom de Dune.
This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
Oh. Alors. Ok. Ensuite.
A vast amount of opium. These instruments are used for smoking opium. This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens.
Super suspect. Hein.
That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments. A tropical plant, nothing of interest. A tropical plant, nothing of interest. A tropical plant, nothing of interest. A tropical plant, nothing of interest.
Comme ça, il y a des machins.
These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them. A tropical. Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
Ok. Ça, on va lui demander. Utiliser.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Ah non.
Do you have...
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search. Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his greenfly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet, you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Ok. Je vais retourner à Kew Garden. Je voulais retourner dans la salle coloniale.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the... A water tank.
Là, c'est la salle des nénuphars.
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system. According to this,
bon, on va aller dans les déductions parce que j'en ai une tonne. Alors, renvoi de White. Hop. Humiliation d'Albert. White et Lune. Voilà. Ensuite, Albert. Martine, famille de Miss White. Ingrédients suspects. Entre les plantes tueuses. Non. Bah c'est les voleurs, oui, voilà. Empoisonnement et ingrédients suspects. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a? Albert avait un mobile pour tuer Montag d'une son père, qui voulait l'empêcher d'accomplir son rêve en intégrant la Royal Navy. En l'assassinant, Albert pouvait assouvir sa vengeance et par la même occasion lui succéder à la tête de Kew Gardens. Le divin syndicat a volé toutes les plantes de l'exposition, y compris les espèces tueuses. Il est possible qu'elles soient servies pour assassiner June. Le divin syndicat a volé toutes. Pour le moment, c'est un vol partiel. Margaret White devait entièrement son statut social à la poursuite de ses études au dernier de Monsieur Dune. Miss White et Monsieur Dune ont été différents récemment. Le directeur voulait en effet congédier Miss White. Ça sera à faire. Et Amish avait un mobile. Ok.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
Déjà, je pense que le fils, il est pas assez calé en botanique pour avoir empoisonné son père. À moins qu'il ait eu l'aide de quelqu'un d'autre. Mais il y connaît rien en plantes. Donc je pense pas que ce soit lui.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. No reaction. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed. My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. A prickly plant.
This is a strange and unusual plant. A carnivorous plant. This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars. I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. This plant seems... It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. It appears... It closed again. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more.
Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose qui me manque?
This plant becomes inactive. No reaction. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
Je sais pas, est-ce qu'il faut la...
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary.
Voilà.
The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Le divin syndicat a utilisé les plantes pour assassiner... Quelqu'un a volé les plantes tueuses que le niveau... Ça m'étonnerait pas. Alors.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly, I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Ensuite, la miss, où est-ce qu'elle est? Est-ce qu'il y a une sculpture par là?
I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this place. Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common. It is a bust of Montague Dunn. can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
No, it wasn't like that.
Ah, il y en a là, j'avais pas vu. Allez. Alors. Il inhale les spores. Il fuit la pièce.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
C'est ingénieux.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
C'est pas par là.
The power is on. The engine cannot be started whilst the transmission is active. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working. Dry tropics.
Now we need to see if we can activate the fans from Mr. Hamish's and Albert's space.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Hamish a eu l'occasion de stimuler depuis son bureau les plantes tueuses qui étaient dans la salle collection coloniale. En tant que biologiste, il avait les connaissances techniques nécessaires au processus. Il a eu l'occasion de voler les plantes et de les stimuler depuis son lieu de travail juste après avoir enfermé. Ok. Ah, direct, c'est lui?
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Attends. Ça me paraît bizarre qu'on ne propose pas d'autres suspects. Ah oui, poursuivez, donc c'est pas fini.
This watch is of great value. A beautiful feather pen of a good make. A membership card for the London Crest Club.
Directeur de l'imprimerie Wayne & Son, vos affiches vantant la grande exposition de Kew Gardens sont remarquables, mais il me paraît superflu de citer tout le personnel. Mon nom seul suffira. Bon, on n'apprend pas grand chose.
Locked. Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
Après, oui, il fait un bon suspect, mais... je sais pas.
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Holmes, my God!
Bordel de merde.
Yes. We found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Putain de merde. Alors, est-ce un suicide ou un meurtre?
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
La vie m'est devenue un insupportable enfer. D'une méritait certes sa mort, mais je ne peux me pardonner d'avoir son sang sur les mains. Les Amish ont toujours été victimes de circonstances. Et je n'y fais de toute évidence pas exception. Je dois expier ici et maintenant.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Alors, Hamish ne pouvait pas courir en raison de la torsion tibiale de son pied beau. Il convient donc de déterminer s'il a eu le temps de verrouiller la porte de la collection canadienne et d'activer le système de ventilation. Est-ce qu'il a eu un complice?
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Alors, Martin Hamish et Montagne sont allés rejoindre Albert à la grainerie vers 9h30. Il était environ 10h moins 20 quand Hamish et Dune sont sortis dans l'arrière-cour. Dix minutes plus tard, donc à 50, Dune a repris son inspection et il est rentré dans la serre désertique. Hamish est retourné à la grainerie. Ensuite, Hamish s'est entretenu avec Miss White à 10h. Et elle les rejoint à jusqu'à 11h moins 20. Il a couru pour prévenir Albert aux alentours de 10h30. Albert a passé toute la matinée à la graineterie. Il a aperçu Hamish qui rentrait à 10h10.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door, more than enough time.
Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Non, c'est pas ça que je voulais faire. Martin et Albert ne sont pas complices ici pour provoquer Albert à une opportunité et 10 minutes semblent juste pour aller verrouiller la porte de la collection coloniale. Ouais, ça aurait suffi, ouais. Alors, elle avait 20 minutes devant elle pour piéger Dune, elle aurait pu verrouiller la porte et elle a été amie chez White. Il n'est pas probable que White ait une opportunité 20 minutes. Bah, si 20 minutes c'est pas suffisant, 10 minutes ça allait encore moins. Attends, est-ce qu'il me reste des choses à faire? Un éclat de marbre trouvé par terre dans la salle de collection, diffusé par sa forme et sa sophistication, il doit choisir. Merde.
What should we...
C'était où? C'était là-bas. Non, je partirai plus sur la Miss White.
Follow my path, and better you will fear.
Est-ce que j'ai un truc à demander, mais je crois que j'ai plus personne à qui demander. Ou alors je devais le demander à Mich, mais il s'est pas rendu.
Locked. Locked.
Non. Allez, oh, putain, cette gâchette de merde. Moi j'ai dit que je partais sur elle. Ah, et flirter aussi avec le fils. Bon, on va voir de l'absoudre avec elle. Je vais essayer de me baser sur les fins.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining. The deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her. Quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
I am not blaming you, Miss White. You are a young and brilliant woman, trapped in a dull and hostile world. Life has never been easy, men in particular.
You... It is hopeless.
Indeed. Well, it may be true that I cannot yet change the world, but I can spare your life.
My life. There is nothing left to save. I have lost everything. Do you hear me? Everything! And you were just like all the others. You would abuse and take advantage of a vulnerable woman.
I hardly think so. Now just listen to me.
I've tried so hard, but I have had enough.
Miss White, no! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Mais j'ai appuyé. Oh putain.
This is tragic, Holmes.
Are you able to do anything?
I'm afraid not. The poison has been fulgurating. Her heart stopped instantly, poor child.
Alors attends. Oui. C'est pas grave, on va refaire.
But Holmes...
I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Mais putain. Non mais il faut avoir une précision de fou, c'est pas possible. Donc, je m'en fous, je vais refaire jusqu'à ce que... Bah, déjà je vais la condamner. Parce que perso, c'est le choix que j'ai envie de faire. Hein. Mais je veux voir comment... Qu'est-ce qui se passe quand elle avale pas le poison.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White?
It is obvious, Watson. Now, after the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final...
Very good.
Just...
What?
Nothing spectacular. The
All right.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not see...
Well?
Not for too long. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong.
It was Martin... You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over? Perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Mais... Non, bon, là, je sais pas quoi faire. Juste voir ce qui se passe quand... si je fais ça à Albert. Parce que pour moi, elle est coupable. Hein. Mais bon, juste voir ce qui se passe avec lui.
It was Albert who assisted Martin Hamish with the murder of his father, Montague Dunn. An act of desperation to end years of misery and humiliation.
Poor boy. You're right, Holmes. He was also a victim. He'll live the rest of his life with the death of his father on his conscience.
And that is enough. The case is closed, Watson. We can say officially that Martin Hamish acted alone.
Alors ça c'est de la merde. Alors si on condamne au cas où, parce que alors là c'est nul. Condamné Albert.
What happened, Inspector?
It's all over now, lad. There is no use denying it. We know that you murdered your father. Patricide by plant poisoning. Very alliterative.
What? You're mad. I didn't do it. I don't know anything about botany. No!
Donc c'est pas du tout lui. C'était bien la Miss White, je voulais être sûr. Par contre, je veux pas qu'elle se suicide, c'est trop facile. Alors à moins que c'est fait exprès, enfin que ce soit prévu, mais... Condamné.
But Holmes...
Alors je vais voir, je vais laisser un petit peu de temps s'écouler.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do. I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Are you able to do?
I'm afraid not.
Bon, j'ai essayé une dernière fois, si j'arrive pas à la sauver, hein, tant pis pour sa gueule. De toute façon, c'est soit elle meurt empoisonnée, enfin en se suicidant, soit elle va finir en tôle, alors. Et ce sera probablement jusqu'à la fin de ses jours. Donc,
But Holmes...
The other. I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Ah bah voilà. Faut être un ninja.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
Oh, qu'elle crève. Oui, c'est bon. Allez, hop, on classe l'affaire. 91% et le même choix moral. Bon, bah. Écoute. Secret au clair de lune. Et il me semble que celle-là, c'est la dernière.
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have? Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet. They...
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Et bien c'est ça pour la prochaine fois. Gros drame. Mais c'était bien, la première enquête a été très courte. C'était plus, ça tenait plus limite du mignon, même s'il y avait un meurtre. Mais la deuxième, elle était bien, il y avait pas mal d'énigmes et tout. Là. Puis même le rebondissement et rien que le mode opératoire du meurtre c'était bien original. Allez, moi je m'arrête là, puis bah, je vous dis à la prochaine pour, je pense, ce qui est la dernière enquête. Allez, à plus.